Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and I'm a veteran of the professional wrestling business for over a decade. I'm joined, as always, by my friend, my co-host, my long-lost friend, technically, because it's been a while since we've seen each other. A week. Never mind. Sorry, it all blurs together. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week for sure.
I can get behind that.
And we tagged together. So, tag team partner as well.
Now, and then the week before, we were together all 3 days.
Okay.
For the weekend.
All right. Well,
the Comic-Con. That's
right. Guy I'm sick of, ladies and gentlemen, Zane Riley.
Let's go ahead and start this whole thing over. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another.
We've covered a lot of ground, and that kind of brings me to the next thing we're going to discuss. Is we have to apologize for not releasing an episode last week. Our schedules have been very hectic, obviously, by the toll that it's caused on my brain. Obviously, I was touring through Florida and Georgia, and of course, we had Fest Wrestling last Sunday. And then before that was a busy week at the SuperCon in Raleigh. Supercon. And, me and Zane just couldn't find time to sit down and discuss our topic today. But we do apologize for that, and we'll probably do a bonus episode sometime when we're not so busy. When that is, I don't know.
You probably didn't even realize, guys. It's okay.
Yeah, you probably...
you don't even care.
I actually met some people, because we're recording this literally a couple hours after I just got off the road. I wrestled last night in Bristol, Connecticut, which is a 12-hour drive.
Oh!
So
I thought you were in Bristol, Tennessee.
No, Bristol, Connectic. Much farther of a drive.
Never mind.
Yeah, so
Sorry, I wanted to do this a lot earlier than 1.
Yeah.
When you said Bristol, I was like, it's Tennessee. Shut the fuck up. We can do this at 10.
No, I was probably around Concord at 10. So...
Fuck me.
Could have. Maybe if Mike Lee would have drove a little bit faster.
Fucking Mike Lee.
But yeah, so we're doing this just literally after, and then of course I'm taking a Wednesday for a bunch of stuff in Ohio. So this is our last gasp to do this, and we're going to squeeze out another recording for an episode and stuff like that. We're gonna probably discuss the Jesse Ventura story. Mm-hmm. So please go ahead and watch that. It's available on YouTube. It's for free. Yeah. And once you watch it, you'll see why.
And they took it directly from a VHS copy of it being on TV.
Exactly. So you will be very appreciative knowing that you did not pay for that.
Yeah.
But, just to let you know, that's kind of the situation that's going on with us. So we'll be doing that. But let's jump right into this episode because you actually got to get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta go to the other job.
So I
got shit to do today, Bubba.
So it was a rush to get here. It's a rush to get out. But in the meantime, we're going to have a hilarious conversation with a good friend of mine, stand-up comedian, improviser, Kevin Delgado. Kevin, how are you doing today?
I'm good. What's up, guys?
Me and Kevin were chatting here before, giving us some cooking tips because I'm going to do a little meat parading today.
Oh, is it meat parade? It's a day early.
Yeah, well, I got to do a day.
To do, eh?
I got to.
You got to prep it.
I got to prep it. Okay. Well, and also too, I got to take off Wednesday, so I got to get an extra day.
Okay.
So,
understand.
Yeah, understand. It's a busy thing. We got stuff to do.
There's shit's going on, guys.
But before we get there, before we discuss the topic that we're discussing, Kevin, what is your exposure to professional wrestling? What do you know about it? What do you remember about it? I think you said you watched it as a kid, but we don't hold that against anybody. Usually the questions that I always ask people is do you know who Ron Bass is? Do you know who the Young Bucks are? And if you don't know who they are, you're perfect for this podcast.
What a wide gamut of...
Well, it covers everything.
Sure does.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure does.
You
know Hackenschmidt? No? All right, let's get up.
Whipper Billy Watson? Okay, no? All right.
What's your knowledge of 1901 wrestling?
But what is your
wrestling in 1901?
Oh, yeah.
God damn.
It's been around forever. Didn't you see A Knight's Tale? They made a whole segment about it.
I did miss that. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, shit. I started watching it when I was a kid because my cousins moved down from Peru.
Okay.
And
down?
It's big. Well, I guess up.
They
flew up from Peru.
Listen, according to flat earthers,
it could be anywhere.
It depends on where the disc is. Yeah, if you flew up, you'd have to go over Antarctica and the North Pole and stuff like that. Then it would prove that the world is round. So,
and fuck that.
No, they moved up from Peru, and I guess in Peru, WWE was huge. Everybody watched it over there, and they love two things: Dragon Ball Z and WWE, and that's all they fucking watched over there. And they brought
not shit from Peru.
Yeah,
you got stuff from Japan and America. That's all we watched.
Well, Peru's the most racist country in South America, so the only thing we were producing at the time was this show called El Mono Ñoño, which means the monkey Ñoño, and it's just a dude that goes on in blackface every week, and everybody loves it.
Whoa! All right, let's put that in the Google search.
But they came down and they came up and they loved it, so I started watching it with them, and I watched it like during I remember Eddie Guerrero dying. I remember that episode very vividly, and then I remember fucking what's his name killing his whole family. Chris Benoit. That's really the only thing I remember about wrestling.
So you only remember tragedies?
Yeah.
Okay. Tragic deaths that changed the entire landscape? Okay.
So I know Eddie Guerrero dying, Chris Benoit, the Montreal Screwjob. all of the top tragedies in wrestling.
That's what I was keeping track of when I was 8.
A morbid kid.
Oh.
Love this guy.
Yeah, now I feel really old because I was actually wrestling during most of this.
I was definitely wrestling during Benoit. I think Eddie as well.
I was an active competitor at that time. He was a colleague.
Knew the guy.
Oh, damn. Did y'all for real?
No.
Oh.
No.
He was way too cool for us.
Yeah. But, okay, so that was your exposure,
Yeah.
the tragedies of professional wrestling.
Death. Got it.
And then my aunt started dating an amateur pro wrestler, and then he was like an asshole. He was like a douchebag. I remember that's the first douchebag I ever met in my life.
You remember his name?
I can't remember his fucking name. He ended up, they got married, and then he ended up, beating the shit out of her. So,
Okay.
Sounds about right.
it was
Well, this
fucking
whole
wrestling.
episode is taking a fucking turn.
Now I see why you identified with the Chris Benoit story.
It's like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah.
shit hits
It's familiar.
Yeah.
So you just think wrestlers are just like wife-beating pieces of shit. Okay.
But you're not far off. I mean, emphasis is on the pieces of shit.
Listen, we've come a long way since the wellness policy,
Yeah.
okay?
Now that everyone's off the juice.
Yeah. At least in WWE.
Yeah, I was about to say, everyone else is still hard on it.
Okay.
Well,
Speaking of tragedies,
this has been another edition.
speaking of tragedies, the show that we were discussing is WCW New Blood Rising, which took place August 13th, the year 2000, the year our Lord 2000.
Calm down, Mayweather. Sound it out.
Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver, British Columbia. Attendance was 6,614. This pay-per-view took the place of Road Wild on the schedule for WCW. I guess that took the place because Road Wild normally took place at Sturgis. Sturgis happened that weekend, which we find out in the discussion of this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view was named after a faction in WCW which had already dissolved before the pay-per-view. So
it had already fallen as this pay-per-view was rising.
Exactly. And this is coming off the heels of the infamous Bash at the Beach, where Hulk Hogan refused to job properly, and then they came up with a big angle with a shoot angle with Vince Russo and publicly firing him, and then they put the belt on Booker T, and it was very CM Punkish situation before it ever happened, which looking back on, I think was very cutting edge thing. It was show that making pro wrestling very real and getting people to talk about it, and people questioning what's real, what's fake, and stuff like that. So I think that's some of the brilliance of Vince Russo, where I feel like this is him at his highest point of hubris, of blurring the lines, and him just going, fuck, we can do whatever we want, and we can make people doubt and do whatever. And I think that you can only get away with that once and only have one of those things going on, where I feel like he has several of those things going on as we discuss through these. But we start off with match number 1 with 3 Count versus the Young Dragons in a double ladder match where they have 3 Count's gold record hanging above and a contract hanging above.
What the fuck was that song that they were just? Was that for real? Did they actually perform that
they
and
performed,
toured?
Well, they performed it in studio, and I think Jimmy Hart had something to do with the writing of it. See, that's the thing. You had Shane Helms, Evan Courageous, and Shannon Moore. They're like, oh, they're cutesy little guys and stuff like that. And
They were trying to be pop stars.
Well, they that was their
Those are
gimmick.
characters.
Okay.
That was their character because they were very young guys. I think Shannon Moore might have been like 20, 21 at the time, and they'd been wrestling on the independent circuit and with like Matthews and York and in the Nashville area. They kind of did the boy band thing there, and then WCW saw it, hired him, wanted them to do it, and Evan Courageous had been knocking around for a while. I'm like, oh, you'll be involved in this and be like a boy band because boy bands were big because NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. So they came up with a little song, and that was their gimmick. But none of those guys fucking committed to it. Like, Shane was the only one who knew how to do the dance.
I disagree. I think Tank Abbott committed very well.
Oh, Tank Abbott was far more committed to the boy band gimmick than any of those three were.
In his fighting career.
But, and then, of course, the Young Dragons. You had Kaz Hayashi, who is Muda's young boy at this time, so that's part of the reason why he's there. And then we have Jimmy Yang, who I believe at this time he was like 19. And then
a wee little baby.
And then Jamie San was actually Jamie Noble, who's from West Virginia. So
you know, West Virginia, Japan.
So most of them were actually like Asian, because I was watching this with my buddy who's Mexican. We were like, those dudes are Mexican as fuck.
But that does happen a lot.
Yeah, that definitely does happen, and I think Jimmy Yang is Korean.
Yes.
He's definitely not Japanese.
Oh,
I think I'm 100% he's Korean.
Hayashi would be the only real Japanese here.
Yeah, exactly. He would be the only one. So, what are our thoughts on this match? It's actually a pretty heralded as a good ladder match.
Yeah, I mean,
even though it's fucking ridiculous.
No, it's insane. And I think that's really kind of what adds to it.
Yeah.
As for being such a good thing. Because it's a cluster the entire time. But Tank Abbott's there, and he's happy, and so it makes me happy.
I hated Tank Abbott. That's the guy on the side. Like, I was like, fuck this dude.
Oh yeah, and like there's one point where they whip into the corner where he's standing and he just like and then sells like the human being got thrown into him. He doesn't hop off the apron, and he's just like, oh fuck this match, I got to get myself over.
Exactly. Totally get Tank Abbott over.
Yeah, and that's what it is the whole time.
I like to think he was calling his spots. Like, all right. Now, where are we going to put Tank Abbott in here? And Tank Abbott talks about himself in the third person. Where are we going to put Tank Abbott in?
Yeah, Tank Abbott was the agent for this match. Yeah. He was the one helped putting it together. But yeah, also too, like, the rules of this thing was really fucking weird. Like, you get the gold record or you get the contract, and the idea was that the Young Dragons are trying to get the contract so that way 3 count can't
make music anymore.
Can't make music anymore. But the Young Dragons got the gold record, but then Tank Abbott just stole it back.
Yeah, this is mine now.
Made it null and void. Like, so it's like, what's the point of them getting?
But also, wouldn't 3 count want their contract so they could keep doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would they want the record more than the contract?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Yeah. So they have to win both of them. Like, you could have just had just one up there, and it would have served all the purpose in the world. because it didn't matter. Because fuck the Young Dragons. Yeah. Tank Abbott's just going to take away whatever you have. Like, so like,
everybody was cool with it, like, oh, that makes sense.
But then at the same time too, like, even if the Young Dragons got the contract, it doesn't fucking matter. Tank's just gonna fucking take it back. Yeah. Like,
I just like how so many of them almost got to it, and then they were always just like bullshit, like, oh, I can't, and I'm not gonna get it just yet, and then they would not get it, and I'd be like,
gravity's
just grab the shit.
Gravity's insane in a wrestling game.
that is the common complaint of the mainstream fan about ladder matches. that is the joke.
Well, I wrote this ladder is the MVP of this match. That ladder, all those ladders did so much. Like,
they took the
like that one dude got sandwiched in one of the ladders.
Oh, and the slingshot that
like a little fucked up seesaw.
Yeah, that was fucking dangerous as fuck. I did like Tony Schiavone invented a word, satirical, sarcastical guy.
Satirical is a real word.
It is, but sarcastical.
Sarcastical.
Is that where she got it from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Schiavone was a part of Jersey Shore.
But anything else we can say about this match? I just find it funny that probably every one of these guys in this match tell young kids right now that they're doing too much.
Yeah.
When in fact that they did all of the moves in this. So.
This whole match, like the entire thing, so many nut shots.
No, this whole show, it's all dick.
Mid 2000s, I think we see a nut shot later on in the show, and I was trying to nut shots right now, and that was a very early 2000 things. Like everybody's hitting each other in the balls. All like we worry about headshots now. What about the low blows in 2000? Like, why are we like messing up our genetic DNA?
Winter testicle injury is going to become like a real big thing to watch in the future.
Well, hey, but maybe that's how Fraggle X was created. Circle back around to the Benoit thing.
Boom!
Call back.
There we go.
But anything else we have to say about this match before we move on?
It was a real solid start to what completely goes downhill from there.
Absolutely. And another
It was admirable.
Another WCW pay-per-view that we watched with Hurricane Helms versus Chavo. Similar thing. Great match. All downhill
After this, we're done.
So all I have to say is don't book Shane Helms at the beginning of your show.
Shane Helms going to shit your show up.
Yeah, just put him late in the show to redeem everything. We go to a backstage promo with the Filthy Animals and the Cat. You get to see a rare glimpse of Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero unmasked. Which once he got to WWE, it was always like, oh, that never happened.
Yeah.
You never saw his face ever.
Yeah.
So
I hated that disco dude.
I
fucking hated him.
I think that was kind of the point.
Okay. Well, good. He did a good job then.
Success. But don't worry, everybody hates him today, too, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like openly and outly and all that.
He's big as shit.
Okay, good.
He's not listening.
Match number 2, The Great Muta versus Ernest the Cat Miller.
What the fuck? Just saying that out loud is weird.
Weirdest thing ever. And here's the thing about a Great Muta at this time. I had to do a little bit of research on it. Great Muta was coming over. He was going for one last big run in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Like he took a little bit of time off to recoup from the injuries. And like this is going to be his big like opportunity to kind of like one more run because he was like a big deal in America. He was a huge sensation in the 80s and the 90s. So he's like, all right, I'm going to have one more good run in the States and see if I can really get some larger exposure. And of course, he walked into WCW, who he'd wrestled for before, and he walked into a shitstorm where he wrestles Ernest the Cat Miller and loses in like the weirdest fucking finish ever.
Oh, God. So wait, that was the last thing he ever did?
No, here's the thing. He signed with WCW, had this night, did this stint right here. It turned out poorly, realizing it wouldn't work well. And he's like, fuck, I fucked this up. And then he was like, well, let me just see if I go to WWF. But he had a no-compete clause, so he couldn't wrestle for WWF. Which, if Muta was in WWF at this time, the way that they were rocking, imagine how fucking awesome that would have been. Like Stone Cold versus Muta, or even like bald Muta with the goatee, which we'll see a little bit.
Sexy Muta?
Yeah, which we'll see a little bit later. Like that's the thing too. Like I'm sure after this he felt like his career was over, but he had like this amazing resurgence not too long after WCW closed in Japan, and he went to All Japan, and he got to wrestle all these different new matchups and stuff like that because he'd always been in New Japan. So like I'm sure at this moment in time, probably shortly after this match or coming to this pay-per-view, he's just like, it's over. It's over. But he still had probably, I think, another almost a decade. Maybe like 07 is kind of when he was just kind of like, relegated to not doing too much because his knees started to catch up to him because he'd always take care of people on the moonsault. So, but yeah, like I'm sure at this point he realized his career was over, but he still had another 7 years of quality work. But I like how in the middle of this match people start chanting, "We want puppies," because that's a WWF chant.
Yeah.
And at this moment in time, wrestling fans are super sexist.
No.
Only see
Which
women.
we find out here later.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Later,
It's real skeevy. Like,
It got creepy. It got
real gross.
It got real creepy.
I bet. We'll definitely get to that.
I like his grandma pajamas. The cat.
yeah.
Well, that's why his music was like "Somebody Call My Mama," which we don't hear because we get this copyright-free thing. Like what you guys heard was not his original music because WWE Network didn't own the rights to some of the music from WCW.
Okay.
Like his was like very James Brownish. Like
Yeah,
it was like "Somebody Call My Mama," like it is. Like,
So I thought it would have been because they reused that music for big guy, Tyrese, who was there. They read the Funko Soul, Brodus Clay.
Yeah.
They used it for him.
It wasn't the same one from WCW because WCW had like a weird copyright thing. They had some music like Diamond Dallas Page's music.
Yeah, well, of course they couldn't use Nirvana.
Yeah, because like when you had the AOL contracts, they had access also to some music that they could use. But like it was something weird. Like you could alter it enough that you could use it that it was identifiable, like Voodoo Child, and like you could use it.
It's called Hoodoo Child.
Yeah, like they had rights to it, but like you couldn't like you know, like you could redo it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know.
Parody, almost.
Yeah, like it could be similar enough. You know, it was some weird thing, but like under the umbrella, I believe, of Time Warner, they can do all kinds of stuff. So, anything else we could say about this match other than Muta just immediately no-selling the finish, which I love?
Well, there was like an attempted murder. You like just try to strangle him with that fucking cord.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like I love that the Cat has always been a fantastic personality. Maybe not the best in-ring worker, but like you want to see him cut promos, dance, give people kicks. That's what he's there for. And for him to wrestle the Muta, you know, is just fucking weird.
That's just like the commentators were like, he's the champion of the NWA, NRA, and NBA. I was like, what the fuck? Like you're just saying N-words at this point.
Which probably was going to also happen.
Which I'm sure Mark Madden has done a few times.
Real hard R's and really meant it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
To his kids.
But any other thoughts about this match?
It happened.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into match number 3, which is part of the reason that this thing is on my radar. Judy Bagwell on a pole / forklift match. What are your thoughts, Kevin, on this match?
You mean Roseanne circa 1993?
Yeah.
This is the most. This is so stupid. And this is when I realized that fans are grabby as shit. Holy fuck! Like anytime anybody just fell into like where the fans were, they were just like they're grabbing it for no reason. I was like, what the fuck?
Give me that sweat. Give me that sweat.
Yeah. Like,
Oh yeah.
give me some MRSA, bro.
Oh, for sure. But this is
But I love the ref too. The ref was great.
Slick Johnson.
Brother.
He always finds a way to get himself over just enough that he doesn't take away from the match, but probably just enough that it's annoying and you recognize him. Like he was.
Well, I mean, his name is Slick Johnson.
Yeah, he had some good like little skits in TNA and stuff like that. But like he does just enough to get himself over underneath the radar.
I'm gonna keep a job, guys.
Pretty much.
And then David Arquette, fucking David Arquette shows up. That's when I started like to be like, you know what? I don't know if I want to watch the rest of this. Like,
maybe this isn't real.
like, what is Courtney Cox doing? Is she gonna come out too?
Well, that's the thing. Like they're married at this time, but the thing is, like, this is a pretty good match because Canyon's good. Buff Bagwell is serviceable, and this time he's very good, but he's in there with Canyon, who knows what he's doing. They're having a great match, and then David Arquette runs up for no reason, and there's no point like. I guess this is an ODQ, and the only point is just to get Judy Bagwell. Or like
whatever you can do with her. Like I think
what was he gonna do with her?
You don't want that, man. 2000 was a weird time.
Weird time.
You think the fans were handsy?
People were having sex with corpses, and
What?
Yeah, it was a wild time. It was a wild time.
A lot of things on TV, man. USA's crazy.
Yeah, this was very much an eyeball roller.
I figured you could have just driven the forklift away and I win. Like I drove it in, I'm drive it out.
Yeah,
you need to really get her down.
Well, that's the thing. If there's no rules and he puts her up, what's the point of him just like I'm gonna hit Bagwell with the chair? All right, I'm good. Bye. Like
just drive this forklift over you too while I'm at it.
But yeah,
there's too many kids. I feel like there's too many kids there. There's just so many kids. That's all it was.
Yeah, just and also it was like weird when Buff finally got his mom down. Like I don't know if he was like he went in for like this weird hug. It looked like he was trying to dance with his mom or like hug his mom intimately. And I thought
they were doing like a dance. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Like there's something weird going on. Like he didn't have connection with his mom, and his mom just I don't know. His mom
is it Shoot Mom?
Yes, it's his Shoot Mom. And I'll tell you why I know that for sure. Because she used to take independent bookings.
No.
Once WCW closed.
What's that
mom? Mean? Like she's just like a fake mom?
No, she's a real mom.
Oh, she's a real mom.
She was Buff's agent.
Yeah, I knew the story about how
like a stage mom.
She quit WWE for Buff and called in and quit.
Yes. Like she kind of fucked up his whole run there, but also she took independent bookings, and she actually held the WCW tag titles roughly about this time. And she didn't technically lose them because there was some weird thing. So, like, on indie shows, years after WCW was closed, she would sit in the locker room and tell other wrestlers, she goes, you know what, I'm still the WCW tag champ. I didn't really technically lose those. Like,
Now take out your dicks, boys. Let me see how you stacked up to the old locker room.
She's the apple doesn't fall far from the tree as well. So.
She's still around? She's still taking bookings?
I don't know.
I'm wrestling Buff Bagwell.
Oh, you are?
Next week, I think.
Shit.
I love it. Okay,
Buff's a sweet man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Take that Canadian Destroyer and everything.
Sweet, nice man. Easy match. Wonderful guy. Very polite. Almost in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? But moving right along, we get a backstage shot of Lance Storm showing up in an all-green limo. We get a Goldberg.
Lance Storm shit.
Yeah, Lance Storm, because that's what he's known for, is pulling up in like a purple limousine.
Yes. Being a
Because he's Canadian hero. I guess purple is the national color?
I guess.
I thought it was weed.
Which, right?
Vancouver would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Either that or all white for like heroin.
Because we know that Canada loves chronic.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I didn't get that because I didn't realize that was one of the dude's names in the tag team. And I was like, oh, they just really love weed. Like, they don't even care.
No, I'm just right
Any
out
chance they get, they're just talking about weed.
Which will lead right into match number 4, four-corner tag with MIA, Jindrak and O'Hare, Stasiak and Chuck Palumbo, and of course, Chronic. And the Filthy Animals, all 5 of them are the special guest referee.
Yep.
What the fuck?
They look like the Ginyu Force from fucking Dragon Ball Z. It's just like, what the fuck? When they came out, it was just like the silhouettes of them. I was like, this is going to be so stupid.
And it was.
And I don't understand why Chronic came out without the titles, but the Filthy Animals did. Like, I don't know if there was some storyline thing or what was going on, but like Chronic are the champions. They don't come out with the belts, but the special guest referees come out with the belts. Yeah. So I missed how that happened. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody knows why. So
all right, I was like, well, maybe they weren't the champs.
Maybe internet, if you want to tell me how stupid I am, please educate me on this.
Did we miss it? Did we miss it?
Did we miss why the Filthy Animals come out with the tag belts when Chronic is the tag team champions? I don't know.
Maybe they just forgot them. Maybe they're just like, oh, fuck. We left the belts in the back, and then the animals were like, we got you, SA.
But they came out first, though. It's like they stole them from them, and the crowd's like, oh, well, whatever.
This real racist idea about cholos.
But I got a bit of information through my research through all of these. We have some very interesting characters in this match. Very interesting characters. But we'll start with Chronic, most notably Bryan Adams. March 13th in 1995, which March 13th is my birthday, in Kona, Hawaii, which is where Bryan Adams is from. Narcotic officers found 500 units of anabolic steroids, several unregistered semi-automatic guns while he was with the WWF. And he only got 5 years of probation.
Pays to be white in Hawaii, man.
Unfortunately, he died of basically painkillers, and as most people fell victim. Also to his tag partner, Brian Clark. Chronic eventually went to the WWF years later, and he wrestled as Adam Bomb for a while. But a funny note in the research that didn't click with me for a while is that when Chronic went to WWF, they had a big run with The Undertaker and Kane. They weren't up to snuff, so they sent Chronic to developmental, which is weird because both of those men had been in the business for a decade, and you have to go to developmental, which kind of speaks to that. But don't know too much else about Brian Clark other than those things. Bill DeMont, I think you can historically you can find all kinds of stuff about him on the internet, but he's been a nice man to me, so I won't besmirch him on my podcast.
Leave that for somebody else.
Leave that for every other podcast. So, me and Luke Gallows are the only people that'll say anything nice about him, so we'll leave it at that. Sean Stasiak is the one that fucked up the WCW invasion when he stooged off to Dave Meltzer that they were going to do some invasion angle at WrestleMania. And that's when WWF labeled all the WCW transplants as losers and fuck-ups, and that's why they were just in the skybox at WrestleMania when Shane took on Vince McMahon. So that's notable for that. He fucked that up. Lash LaRue, which is Bill DeMont's tag team partner, he's a cartoonist now as soon as he retired, so I hope he's doing some good work. He also did cartoons for the magazine The Wrestler and PWI. Chuck Palumbo. Actually, let's go to Sean Stasiak.
You said him.
Yes.
He's a doctor now.
Yes, he's also a doctor, a chiropractor. Kind of active on social media as well.
Followed me not too long ago. No big whoop.
Oh shit!
Follow me as well.
There you go.
So
We got all of us. Got all of us.
He'll probably follow you after this podcast,
Oh,
Kevin.
God, I hope so.
He just searches his name on things.
Mark Jindrak, big star in CMLL in Mexico. I think he's on some telenovelas and soap star and stuff like that.
Oh, my mom might know him.
I think he's dating a soap star. Like he's super jacked right now. Loves the fact that steroids are illegal in Mexico, probably. Like just shredded beyond belief, and a fantastic athlete. So he's doing very well in Mexico right now. Does a couple independent bookings in the States very rarely.
Probably the only person in Mexico doing that.
Sean O'Hare, people talk about how great his WWE gimmick was. I didn't particularly like it. He did have some time with Roddy Piper when he ended up in WWF, but he kind of fell off the radar. And a few years ago, he was found committed suicide, and he was living in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is weird because that's only an hour and a half away. And if he was that close, like, why did we never see him on an indie show?
Why didn't anybody ever book him?
Yeah, nobody ever booked him.
Maybe
but
that's why he killed himself.
Maybe he just wanted real dumb WCW 2000 money.
Yeah, but like at the same time too, like if you're living in Spartanburg, South Carolina, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You know, like
obviously he didn't hang out with DMX enough because DMX lives there.
DMX lives in Spartanburg.
He gets arrested there all the time.
I don't think that he lives there.
I think he worked at a Waffle House there for a little while. Guys, look it up. We've got Wikipedia.
Okay, well, we're gonna look it up. But like, fuck, if you're living in the same town as DMX and you got a little bit of TV cachet, I'm hanging out with DMX, and I'm living till I'm 80 because I want the stories.
Like, bark at things.
Yeah,
You just get an excuse to bark at things.
but O'Hare's Stasiak's partner, Chuck Palumbo. He's actually had a few. He had a WWF run, of course, but he's also had some Discovery Channel shows about motorcycles and stuff like that. And also, too, he saved a woman's life by lifting up a car and then lifting her out, Incredible Hulk style. So we have a lot of...
Why did he get booked more after that?
Yeah, but he's got
another WWE run right there off that alone.
What was she doing under the car?
I don't know. There was a car accident. He found her. He turned into the Hulk immediately and then lifted up the car and then lifted her out. So, a lot of interesting characters, and that's just the combatants. Like, I didn't even get into the special guest referees, but... if you just go over people's arrest record, life record, Wikipedia pages, if you search the Wikipedias on all of these men in this match, it's far more entertaining this entire pay-per-view.
I was about to say, do we even have to talk about the match now? Do we just talk about how rad these guys are in real life?
There's not a lot to it. I spent more time researching this match than watch it, so I don't have a lot to say about it.
It was big clusterfuck.
Don't understand why Chavo ran out, beat up a referee. Put the shirt on and then counted 3, and that was considered legal. Yeah. But then he counted 3 for somebody who is not affiliated with his faction, so I don't know why he didn't set it up so Lash or General Erection could get the belts. I don't understand. So clueless on that.
I didn't, because I wrote. Is there no rules in wrestling? At
this moment in time, I see why you feel that way.
I was like,
at this moment in time,
going on?
There's no rules because you've seen a no DQ match.
And I saw wedgies.
You've seen run-ins. You've seen ladders, and then you've got nonsensical referees going on. So by match 4, for someone like you, you're utterly confused, and I'm sorry.
I was like, what? Because then there's Fabio jumps in. He does absolutely nothing. He comes in, he does this little shake move, and then he tags back out. I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Not my time, full time.
Yes. That's all I'm going to do.
I really got to get my shuck and jive in there, guys. Come on.
Although, a good thing, they were doing a Bronco bust in the corner, and Bill DeWitt just put a boot up, and love that spot. Yep. I love that spot.
Couldn't make that happen.
That's the only thing I can really think of other than it just... But yeah, at this moment in time, I can only imagine how you feel about the rules of professional wrestling.
I was just... Because in this next one, I was like, there's too many rules, right?
Yeah, match number 5, strap match. Shane Douglas with Tori Wilson versus Billy Kidman. This is in the midst of a feud where you saw such things as a Viagra on a pole match. So this is an instant classic for sure. A kind of a cringe-worthy moment on commentary with Mark Madden, where he makes a comment and he says, "Has Tori put on a couple pounds?" which is a shitty thing to say because she's battled bulimia. So,
Oh shit!
Before this, or like maybe caused by this?
I believe before this, during her fitness model era,
Mm.
like she was pretty open about it during her WWF run.
Oh, this is the strap match, right?
Yes, the strap match,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, I think you're thinking about the Canadian rules match. So it had all the rules.
Yeah, I was like, that was dumb.
I
like-
disagree with you, and we'll discuss it. At
Yeah,
that time,
it was
but
my favorite match of the show.
And I just hated when she hit her own dude, and I was like,
Oh,
fuck this man.
Yeah, well, and like, yeah, you could tell she didn't know when to hop up on the apron, and then also too, like, this is just a weird angle, and I'm surprised. Like, if Vince Russo did this angle today, because basically another wrestler stole. Basically, Tori Wilson is like Billy Kidman's real life girlfriend, but the idea is that everybody knew that, and then they did a wrestling angle where Shane steals her, because Shane always does better with a woman. So yeah, it's just true with Francine, and then Tracy Brooks and TNA, and he's always done well with a woman. You always put him with a woman because it always works well. But I feel like if this wrestle angle was done today with Vince Russo's mind, it would probably be a situation where a wrestler steals a guy's girlfriend, and then the guy who got jilted would release nude photos of the girl, and then oddly, like, Vince would think, oh, that's going to turn him babyface, when really it turns him heel in front of everybody, because that's abuse. But
that's sexual assault. Guys.
yes, so I feel like if Vince was doing that today, this angle would have saw that incarnation of the feud, considering we had a Viagra on a pole match, and now we're having a strap match. I'm surprised this isn't a strap-on match.
I wasn't surprised.
It's right there.
That. It was right there. We all had it.
It's low hanging fruit. Somebody's got to grab it.
We didn't even need a ladder for that one.
This was just like this match is the epitome of the early 2000s to me. Like, the one dude was wearing Janko jeans. It was like a douchebag.
The guy's got tassels on.
Oh, and there's a pinfall in a strap match.
Yeah,
which
what?
I appreciate that you're not going to do the fucking typical like
four
corner thing. That like there's only like really 2 or 3 finishes to that.
Yeah.
But a pin and a strap match, whatever. And of course, Kidman gets hanged, and then Reno runs in. Totally.
Oh
overboard.
yeah.
Just all kinds of things. So we're utterly confused, but that's okay. We cut to Jeff Jarrett attacking Booker T and calling him boy. So, like, transition nicely. We transition nicely.
And then we go from racism to gross sexism.
I just wrote down titties.
Match number 6. I think Wikipedia refers to it as mud rip-off clothes match. It's a camouflage match. Major Guns versus Miss Hancock, which gets the biggest reaction with the crowd.
Right?
Like,
biggest pop of the night is that Les Press.
Yeah, like...
Catfight time.
And to let you know...
That was Stacy Keibler, right?
Stacy Keibler,
Yeah.
who used to date George Clooney. And Major Guns, who's known for doing softcore porn now.
Oh.
Known mostly as the Showtime or Cinemax special, Witches of Breastwick 2.
You didn't even look that up, did you, Jake? You just
No,
knew.
just fucking knew.
But she's on the second one, not even the first one.
No.
No, not
They had to bring real star power back to get that sequel.
exactly. Medusa was the trainer of a lot of these girls. This is about the initiative time where like Lita and I think like maybe even Trish and Jazz and Ivory were killing it over in WWF, and WCW's like, we need these girls to wrestle. So they took all the Nitro girls and trained them how to wrestle like Crash Course, much like Glow, but with far more sexist things going on. And of course, let's just throw Mud Pit in here, just because.
Yeah, why not? You know.
And not only do we throw Mud Pit in there, we throw a fake abortion angle.
Was that okay? That's what I wrote down. Did she just have a miscarriage?
That's what
I was like,
that's what they wanted to believe. They wanted to touch your heartstrings.
They didn't. I was just like, why?
Not that WWF is above it as well. They did, I think, many fake abortion angles.
Yeah.
So, yeah. How do you feel about all of this, Kevin?
I don't know. It was the commentators.
Holy
just
shit.
creeped me the fuck out. Because there's one point one was like, I hope they go into the mud pit, and the other guy's just like, they have to. It's contractual. Like,
maybe not consensual, but it is contractual.
Yeah, it's like they're sitting on the casting couch. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It was
Like,
it felt gross. And that same one was just like, kiss and make up. Do it for daddy. I was like, oh my god.
Oh man.
This is the thing when you have to look back at like early 2000s treatment of women in professional wrestling, and we're all guilty of it. I was like a 16-year-old, 17. No, I would have been an 18-year-old at this time. So like, Lord knows the things that were being said in my fucking mind.
Yeah, just straight jacking it.
Just had to understand.
Just for people to jack off.
It's a different time, guys.
Yeah, like and that's all it was seen as. But like, it's refreshing now to see strong female athletes, and I almost find it sexier in a sense, a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a little bit, there's more to it. You know what I'm saying? As you get older and you start talking to the girl that has no personality or nothing going on at life, you kind of want the girl that's got some substance, some strength, and got some things going on. And
maybe not wearing a camo bikini.
Yeah, and just like and doing wrestling moves poorly. You kind of want a girl that knows how to take a hip toss properly. Yeah. Like there's nothing sexier than that, gentlemen.
Well, Keebler went and did some stuff.
Yeah, like Keebler went on to have, like she did some wrestling in WWF, but like she's gone on to
bang George Clooney.
That's her biggest credit to date.
I think so. And when people tried to book her for conventions, she adjusted her price accordingly to that.
Yeah, keeping that George Clooney's dick piece.
Yes.
Money.
So have that. Anything else we have to say about this before we move on?
Thank God it ended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I never really got the rules. Like,
yeah, they were just supposed to rip each other's clothes
off,
right?
Which they did that.
Do you want to discuss rules at this point?
But then they went on to get in the mud pit. Like,
and then
it's contractual, but
we never figure out what the finish is or what they're working towards because the abortion comes up.
Yeah. Did she have a miscarriage abortion? So she carried it through term?
No.
Because she did not look to be with child at all.
Mm-hmm. Why would you agree to do this if you knew that you had a baby?
She could have had a couple drinks the night before, get a little bloated, and, help out a little bit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right.
Then we go downhill from here again.
But it's only appropriate that we go to the Dark Carnival. Because I feel like this whole thing is a Dark Carnival.
Which, ironically enough, this weekend in Oklahoma City, Gathering of the Juggalos currently going on.
Oh, shit.
It's currently happening, boys.
Fago galore.
Oh, yeah.
This is where I checked out. As soon as I realized he was a juggalo, I was like, nope, I'm out of it.
But see, that's the thing. Like, they should call this Dark Carnival because this faction actually is going on, and it would be the perfect title for this whole thing.
Because you see them a lot.
Yes,
I saw a sign, and I didn't get it before. I was like, why are they talking about ICP? But there was a sign during the Bagwell fight right behind her. It said ICP equals HIV.
Nailed it.
I was like, people just hate fucking ICP in Canada, and I get it. I fucking get it.
It has nothing to do with them, but they're just fuck them anyway.
I saw a guy last night with an ICP shirt on, and like he was nice to me. I was like, all right. And actually, I was in a 10-man tag with Vampiro at the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to him? He's the one that like bitched out, right? No, Little Demon or the Demon. Yeah. The
Demon. Fuck the Demon. But we'll get into that. But also do cutaways to in the crowd. Shortly after this promo, there's a cut to a guy in an APA shirt, which I find it funny. They cut to a shot of a guy wearing a WWF shirt at the time. So like that's funny. Match number 7, we get to the Demon versus Sting. Let's talk about the Demon. It is a Kiss-based character, which they had an agreement with Kiss to do a wrestling character, and in that contract, he was supposed to main event one pay-per-view. Like like Kiss would only give the okay if this Demon character would be pushed and used properly. And actually, Bryan Adams was supposed to be the Demon, and Bryan Adams like, nah, I'm not gonna fucking do that. And they're like, okay, you've been caught with semi-automatic guns and a shitload of steroids. You can do what you want. You're chronic now. Yep. So they gave the Dale Torborg, who is the son of Jeff Torborg, who was a very famous baseball player. He actually was a catcher and caught for Sandy Koufax's only perfect game, and was also a catcher for the first of Nolan Ryan's no-hitters. So, and he also was a legendary manager. So, and his son Dale, who
was a fuck up.
No, he's probably a better strength and conditioning coach for Major League Baseball than he ever was a wrestler, and I think he will admit that openly. And I think that was pretty much well known. And the Demon character was the brainchild of Eric Bischoff. So when Bischoff left, people were like, fuck the Demon. But they had all this contract stuff. Like, they had, like, Kiss played, like, the last segment on Nitro. And it was the lowest rated segment in Nitro history.
Wow.
So that's kind of how the Demon was birthed. And it was just trouble from the beginning. So I feel bad for Dale Torborg a little bit because he got put in a bad situation because somebody else did something and some other people made some bad deals. So that's kind of how he got put in this bad situation. But you got to wrestle Sting on a pay-per-view.
That's cool.
For 30 seconds.
You know.
You
don't need more than that.
Oh, Jeff Hardy can say that.
I was about to say.
That same exact statement.
I was listening to something about that the other day.
Moving right along to match number 8, Mike Awesome versus Lance Storm, the special guest referee, the Mountie, which I love when Lance cut a promo, because I think the news had been out that Bret Hart was going to be there. So when he said special guest referee, everybody thought Bret Hart. But when he says special guest referee, he gives it a pause and he shakes his head like it's not who you think it is. And they have Jacques Rougeau, who's the Mountie, comes out.
Which I wish it was Raymond Rougeau. He's way cooler.
He might have still be doing French commentary for WWF at the time. So, but
which the Lance Storm promo was real awkward. Like, he didn't know what to do with his hands. Like, he had that one belt, and he just kind of kept raising it in front of his face.
Because he knew people were going to shit on the Jacques Rougeau thing.
Yeah.
Because Bret obviously just wanted to come out and hug him afterwards, and that was it. So that kind of ended nice.
You need the Bret Hart pop? I got you, buddy.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was just a weird hug, and it's also weird to have Jacques Rougeau and Bret Hart in the same ring with a history of Dynamite Kid. You know, with Dynamite Kid got sucker punched by Jacques Rougeau with a roll of quarters, and Bret Hart was close personal friends with the Dynamite Kid. So, that's just weird thing right there. But any thoughts on the match? I know you didn't like it, Kevin, because of the rules.
Because, so for the last one, I was like, so rules are out the window, and then all of a sudden, there's Rule 32B.
So all the rules matter.
Yeah, it's like, and then, like, it's every time he won. That just pissed me off. I was like, well, fuck it. He's never going to win. This is
and I don't think they gave too much thought to it because it's like they kept coming with these rules. It's like, oh, fuck, like, how is he going to win? Like, there's no thought process. Like, well, if we come up with this rule, then the direction this might change.
Here's the loophole.
Yeah, and then how does he end up winning? But he just wins on a loophole when it's like, it should be more dramatic that he gives him opportunities to, like, keep going in the match, and then he does get, like, the win, but he's like, no, he wins by loophole. And it's like, why can't you just give him opportunities to stay in the match, and then he wins the match? But, like, especially if you're going to do this big hug with Bret Hart at the end, where it's just fucking weird. It could have been fantastic, but I feel like nobody put too much thought into how the
rules? Are those actual? I was like,
it's just a story, and it's Vince Russo. It's just Vince Russo going, fucking, nobody gives a shit about the realness of pro wrestling. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? When, like, if you give weight to the rules, if there's no rules, there's no good and evil.
Yeah.
If you put some weight to the rules, there's a good and evil. And the fact that we're using all the rules now, it's clearly defined good and evil, but at the same time, too, this is Lance Storm's hometown.
You go in a negative with the fact that the heel is the big baby face.
So it just makes that some more clunkier. But this is, like I said, this is at the height of Vince Russo's hubris. He's like, I'm a creative genius. I'm cutting edge of pro wrestling, and I was proven right by this Bash at the Beach promo that I am a genius, and I'm gonna do this pay-per-view that's full of shit like this, and just.
I thought this match was fucking fantastic.
I liked it, but
I liked the match, but it was dumb. Like, I mean,
well, I liked that it was dumb, but I just would have liked to have seen that, like, the loopholes were used to give Lance more of an opportunity to finally get the pin or get the victory, as opposed to, oh no, he wins because of this.
Yeah,
you know, that's where it falls flat for me.
I would have just liked to have seen Lance Storm versus Mike Awesome just regular.
You know what? And that's the thing. Like, Mike Awesome gets a lot of critiques of him not being very great. And
he's fucking awesome. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
But the thing is, like, with the right people, he was fantastic. With other people, he was, like, you could see the holes in his wrestling. Yeah. But when you put him in the ring with somebody like Tanaka, you put him in the ring with somebody like Lance Storm that knew where his deficiencies were and where his positives were, and they could turn those up or turn those down or put those in place where they need to be. He was fantastic. And like, I don't know a lot of wrestlers that are like that, where you could take somebody that had great deficiencies and they can be turned down so far, and his positives can be turned up so high, you know. But when you put him in there with anybody else that doesn't understand that, it's clearly evident, like, oh, it was clearly the guy he wrestled.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, like, sometimes you'll get a guy that works well, like Lance Storm wrestling somebody else. You can kind of think, oh, that guy's good, and you don't see too many holes, or he doesn't get too exposed. But Mike Awesome always got very exposed when he wasn't wrestling those right people that knew what to do with him. So.
Oh, he slips off the top rope. Oh yeah, by the way.
Yeah, but like Paul Lee was very good at protecting him properly, and you know, like putting him in the right situation and putting him with the right people and stuff like that. Unfortunately, C.W. Anderson was one of those people that definitely did not like it. Match number 9, we see the Great Muta and Vampiro versus Chronic. I don't know why we have to have Great Muta do double duty here. Why can't we just
or Chronic?
Yeah, like why can't we just have a 3-way tag for a number 1 contenders match? Chavo comes out, blasts him, helps MIA win. They get a title shot against whoever next. Chronic is wrestling the Great Muta and Vampiro, and Ernest Kent Miller is still getting a fucking payday because he's still the commissioner.
He's still cutting promos.
He's still cutting a promo, which we want him to do anyways. Or how about have him get involved in the tag match?
We need 6 minutes.
Yeah, why do we need him to wrestle, to have these weird angles happen, and have Muta lose on the pay-per-view to put over the Cat to eventually win the tag belts? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the match. What are your thoughts, Kevin?
I just said fuck IACP, and then the Muta poisoned the ref. That what he did? He just like blew some shit in his face.
That's a great Muta. That's his deal.
Spits in people's face. Gave him some Mookie mouth.
Yeah. Move right into Booker T's interview, a video package that sets up this number 1 contender match.
I hated that chick.
Kevin Nash versus Goldberg versus Scott Steiner. We are coming into this thing with knowing Goldberg got hurt at Sturgis in a motorcycle accident, and that's why he doesn't make it out for his intro.
But makes it out 30 seconds later for it?
Yes, that's the fucked up part. He still comes out. Like 30 seconds later. Why can't you have the guy, like, whether or not he's going to be there, and then he does come out, he gets the big explosion, but when he comes out 30 seconds later, he gets nowhere, he killed the reaction of it. Like, don't you want that big pop? Like, don't you want to have that happen? Like, oh, he's here, he's ready to compete, as opposed to, he's here, ready to compete. Like, and you have to stifle your excitement for him being there. I don't fucking understand that at all. And then they do a work shoot again to get interest in Goldberg, where he walks out and tells Vince Russo, fuck off. So, like, it just, like, this is just Vince Russo doing another work shoot. 2 pay-per-views in a row. You know what I'm saying? You got to let that other one sit and settle, but you're doing this work shoot to do whatever. Basically, they're trying to get to a Goldberg-Scott Steiner feud. And basically, that feud came off of, basically, Goldberg walked out of the match, and Scott Steiner had to take the finish from Nash, and that's why he was pissed at Goldberg.
Which all this was just awkward. Like, 9 matches of just weirdness, and then I hate when, like, wrestlers in promos and whatnot use, like, the wrestler terms. Mm-hmm. Like, they just all of a sudden start talking about, like, going over and doing jobs and stuff like
We're
that.
Improvising out here. This isn't supposed to happen.
So weird.
and basically saying, everything you're seeing right now is fake. Everything you're seeing right now is fake. Everything you're seeing right now is fake. This isn't planned. This isn't planned. This isn't planned. You know, like, so, like, yeah, like, come on. You can't. Here's an old rule that somebody told me about, you know, because everybody knows what pro wrestling is. Somebody told me, like, the rule is, treat it like a play. When the show is happening, the lights go down, when that person is on stage, when they are playing Hamlet or Henry VIII or whatever, they're Hamilton or whatever they're playing, they are that person. When the lights go down, they are that person. They are that person beginning to end, during intermission, whatever. And then when the lights come up, everybody comes out and does a bow, And then if you happen to see them at the end of the night, they are then their regular self. They are that actor. They are that person.
Yeah.
Same applies with pro wrestling. In the sense that when those lights go down, you are the Man Scout Jake Manning. You are the party manimal Zane Riley. And you are that person beginning to end through and through and through and through and through and through and through. But then when the lights come back up and you're selling t-shirts at the end of the night, you can be a normal human being. You know what I'm saying?
Zane and Jake.
He's Zane and Jake, not the awful person that said awful things about women when he's wrestling at Revolver, not this guy that said awful things about Jake, but at the end of the night, we're carrying boards together because the lights are now up and we're tearing down the ring together.
We want to go home.
We want to go home.
The facade is over.
Thank you for coming. But it was like a show, beginning show, but that's how you should treat it as a pro wrestler, is that I'm the most hated person in the building until those lights come back up. Now I am a normal human being. Because that's... Bruce Willis is not John McClane.
Not?
I'm sure he would tell you differently. But especially when the Iraq War broke out and he tried to get President Bush to move the age restriction so he could be a part of the military service so he could go over.
That.
Yeah. A lot of people forget about how crazy that was. I don't. So
he's always
Yippee-ki-yay, Osama bin Laden.
pretty much that's what he wanted to say. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted him to up the age that you could...
I would watch that Die Hard. I would watch that.
I didn't watch the last one, but if you would have made that the last Die Hard, I definitely would have watched that. All right. So anything else we can say about this match other than what the fuck?
3 guys that didn't want to fucking bump for any of the other 3.
Yeah. That's
so many clotheslines.
Yeah.
So many really shitty clotheslines.
And the thing is, I don't know why you do the injury ankle with Goldberg and then do the work shoot with him.
Yeah.
It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
That's just fucking weird. You got to give him something.
And this had another run in and a ref bump. Did they miss the ref on that ref bump? It looked like he whiffed him.
Maybe.
And the ref just kind of bumped.
I think they were trying to make it look like we don't know what we're doing. Goldberg was supposed to be here for the spots. We send Medeja down because I think the thought process was the stuff that Medeja was doing, like the breaking up of the pin. Like that's the stuff that Goldberg's supposed to do. I think that's what we're supposed to play with people's minds with. Like it's that nuance that I have to think outside the box to kind of think what they're trying to do. And
she comes in for a dick shot, right?
Because sometimes it's just you've got to make pro wrestling as simple as possible. I was just wrestling in front of a crowd last night. We wanted to do something nuanced, but then we're like, nope, we have to dumb it down for these people. And they're average people. They're rabid wrestling fans. They've seen wrestling shows before. We know, hey, we can't be that nuanced. We got to fucking streamline this information so everybody understands it. And that's sometimes a criticism of pro wrestling that it does that, but sometimes it's the best option. And that's, because you're entertaining the masses.
True.
It's the same thing with any type of art. Sometimes you have to streamline it a little bit more so people understand your message directly. Not all of us can be Christopher Nolan and be able to do nuance and be able to streamline it so properly. We get to the main event, WCW World Title match, Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett. I feel like this is a good match.
Yeah. That guitar shot at the very end I thought was fucking awesome and well timed and just a good call,
This is how you stack the deck. Mm-hmm. This is how you get over a new babyface champion. This is textbook how you get a new babyface champion over. Like, is he going to win? Is he going to retain? But the fact that he finally overcomes everything and he ends up and walks out with a belt. I think that this is exactly how it's done, which it's... Thank God it happens. Because this is the only thing that makes sense pro wrestling wise. This match is the only thing. This is the only, except with the exception of the ladder match because of its craziness, this is the shining gem of the whole thing in that this is how wrestling is supposed to operate and work specifically. It is the only thing on the show where that happens. So, not a lot else to say about it other than that.
People hate Booker. At the end, the one dude just chucks a soda at his face, and you can just see him go, "Man, fuck you."
But that's the thing. That's why you got to do these things so people can get behind them. But at the same time, too, if you beat it over people's head, you get a reverse reaction to it. Any other thoughts on this match?
Early 2000s was a strange place, man.
Sure was.
Anything else we need to discuss about this show in general? Would we tell people it's worth their time?
People if you would take out,
probably $30, $40 for it.
And the people in Vancouver, how much did they pay?
Front row could have been 100, couple hundred maybe.
Down to like maybe $10 for the nosebleeds.
Yeah, it might have been
10,
20.
20,
You know what I'm saying? It's still pretty.
It's still $20 too much.
Any other thoughts, gentlemen? Other, like I said, this is just the height of Vince Russo's like hubris.
But this is almost the dead end of WCW.
Yep. This is. I think these things happening on a regular basis and regularly wrestling fans getting lost. Even the people that are paying attention to the nuance are like, I don't like that you're fucking with me this much, because that is a thing that people get tired of over time. Like we already know that you're messing with us in the sense that like I have to buy into the fact that these guys actually hate each other, but like when you're trying to fuck with us even more, like that's where you turn people off. You get away with it once in a while and play the little tricks, but you got to pay them off big in the end. So, and I don't think a lot of this does that. And this is definitely the last gasp of everything. But it is bookend with some pretty good matches. And
there was some good stuff peppered through it.
Yeah. And there's some fun stuff and stuff like that. But
if they'd have done 5 matches instead of 11, this would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
It could have been Kenyon and Buff, the 3-count match, maybe Billy and Shane, and then the main event, and then...
Yeah, you could have shuffled some shit around. It'd been fun.
Mike and Lance, and then we'll go home.
Yeah.
Everybody goes 20 minutes, we get the fuck out.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Kevin?
No, this was definitely something.
It was a
Definitely
thing.
something. It happened.
Now, do you get to add this to your list of tragedies that we've witnessed?
This is by far worse than Chris Benoit.
Well, on that note, Kevin, please let people know where you can be available on social media and places they can get up with you and watch you do improv, stand up, and all that stuff.
Twitter, Instagram at Kevo Delgado, KEVO DELGADO, not TO. A lot of people think it's like cat. It's not. Delgado's actually Spanish for slim, which is ironic. But I will be, let's see, August. When is this gonna air?
This Thursday.
I will be in Memphis the 18th through the 20th at that Friday and Saturday. I'll be at the Out. Fucking, what's it called? They're probably gonna hate me for butchering this, but it's like
I gave you a live microphone.
I know, and I'm fucking it up. But no, I'll be in Memphis, and then we're gonna be doing. Me and Mimi are doing a benefit for a hair salon that she failed to tell me the name of. But it'll be fun. And then September 1st, I'm at Studio 16 in Cornelius. The 2nd, I'm doing improv at the Bloomingthal. And then I'm doing your show the 21st.
I love that. That's right. And ironically enough, I'm doing a benefit for hair salon. So I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, because you have like...
Because I'm bald.
No hair.
Delgado means slim, and you're a chunkier individual. It's much funnier when you explain your jokes, Kevin.
Yeah, I know.
Pro tip. Zane, this comes out this Thursday.
Pro tip.
What do you...
Let's see. This Sunday, I'll be wrestling at AML in Winston-Salem against Billy Brash. The first weekend of August, I'll be at Big Time Wrestling in Salem, Virginia. Warzone in Fayetteville on the 6th. And then on the 12th, I'll be at Viral Pro in Thompson, Georgia. And I'll also be running a seminar. Zane Riley's Home for Wayward Wrestlers, which will go to benefit hair salon.
Yes, there you go. Some hair salons.
Doing real bad right now. Which I have a ton of hair.
You have a ton of hair.
Which works.
Not ironical whatsoever.
No. Good statement.
This episode comes out the night before Pro Wrestling Revolver is in Dayton, Ohio, so ProWrestlingRevolver.com. I will also be at Big Time Wrestling, BTW Pro. I'll also be performing at the Comedy Zone the Sunday after this episode comes out, and I will be emceeing for Julian McCullough that next weekend. Also, too, I have the All Organic Open Mic August 10th. Chesney Goodson will be there, so I'm pretty much doing comedy every single night in Charlotte, so please follow me on that.
Only wrestling twice.
Yes, only wrestling twice. At least after this episode comes out. And then I'll take a little bit of a break, and then I got PWX August 20th. I will be there for that, and that is at Cabarrus Arena. As always, if you want to follow my schedule, or if you want to complain, or if you could just tell me what the fuck was going on with the tag belt, WCW tag belts, you could tweet me at ManScoutManning, or email me at jake@sslshow.com. Make sure you check out the website, howdidthisgetbooked.com. That's where we have How Did This Get Booked t-shirts, as well as my merch specifically. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud, all of these things. We will be back with the Jesse Ventura story, which is available on YouTube. The link will be on howdidthisgetbooked.com. But this has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked? Woo!